What's popular, YouTube? Another day, another demo. I am a hot mess. Okay, let me give you 18 reasons why I'm a hot mess right now. I woke up today 1:30 p.m. No one cares. My call time's at 3 p.m. No one cares. I couldn't sleep last night. No one cares. I've just been so wrecked by jet lag, and I totally forgot to upload yesterday. When I went in, I was like, all right, because I slept through the day, took a nap, woke up right before call time, and then went to cast the last best of three of yesterday. And today we have two best of three, so our call time's a little bit earlier. But I finally am able to sleep now because I just fixed the set. I adjusted the pro settings, okay, in the hotel. I turned the fan off, which was sucking all the humidity out. Thank you so much for the advice about how to stay hydrated in a cool climate. How to make sure there's still you keep some humidity in the air without a humidifier. Some great tips in there. I used everyone's tips. Thank you so much. I have to rush through this one. I'm so sorry, guys. I have to. We have to get into it. The intro is not going to be too long. I don't know how long the demo is going to be, but I want to we got to talk about the player at least. Okay. So first up, this is FalleN. We're talking about a guy that we have never done a demo on this channel ever. We're doing FalleN finally. Yesterday, to stay in line with some of the great Brazilian Counter-Strike that we watched Furia with Honda and his debut. And how sick was that? He had 3 aces in in the first 3 maps versus probably the hardest team to ace in the whole world. Maybe not by coordination standards, I guess, but like by individual talent. You know what I mean? Some ridiculous stuff. And, overall, his performance in the series wasn't amazing. It was like some highlight rounds, but there were definitely a lot of mistakes there. The team as a whole played average, okay, and I think overall was like slightly impressive. But I think that G2 played really well. They had a couple of halves where they looked a bit off, but they fixed their stuff. Overall, it was a very exciting game, and definitely worth a watch. If you're the type to watch VODs, I would recommend this one. I think it was very interesting to watch. Nico is on form. Nico's T-side on Nuke is something I want to probably watch. Kenny S played very well. Nexa played very... Honestly, it felt like everyone did. Even Amanek and Hunter, whose stats maybe not showing it as much. Why do we want to talk about FalleN? Well, he's joining Team Liquid. Okay, so for those of you who might not know, he has been announced to be joining Team Liquid. He's playing with Team Liquid today. He'll be casting their match. And he hasn't played on a team since MIBR dissolved back in like July or August. I don't remember what it was. A few months ago. He's here to show us that he is not done with the game, that he's not done playing at the top. And this might be one of the last best chances that you could get, right, to play on a team like Team Liquid with so much talent available. It is kind of the perfect fit in a lot of senses. Stewie is a player who it feels like he's overloaded right now with the amount of responsibilities, with the opping, the IGLing, he's entrying, he's playing support. He's literally doing everything. It feels like he needs one more player to help him out with that stuff. And there are better IGLs out there, to be real. I think, lots of players multitask and can be successful. It's not for everyone. I think, watching Stewie be a pure entry fragger and support player would be way more interesting, I think, than watching him try to op sometimes on top of IGL, on top of support, on top of entry. So with FalleN, now he can primary on the op. Just plain and simple. He can do both sides in their whole map pool. He can help call. So even if Stewie's going to be the primary caller still, which apparently for the foreseeable future that's still going to be Stewie, which I personally think, this is something FalleN should do, but who knows why? It might be his decision and the team's or whatever. Maybe he likes the way that Stewie calls right now, even if from the outside it doesn't seem like it's all that great. FalleN is a super kind of like there's never been a question about him as a teammate. So I think that thinking about what he adds to Team Liquid, contrasted with Twist in terms of his maturity level and how much experience he's bringing and how much emotional capacity he has as someone who has had to be an IGL for so long and has had to be, something of a role model. Yes, he's had a couple of missteps and people seem to be very upset about like the whole situation with Furia, the fair play situation with Furia, and like something else, or the Leaf situation. these are things that he apologized for, and for small things that happened that someone apologizes for, I would never let that overshadow. Personally, I would never let that overshadow the monumental accomplishments that he has created. Like I'm not that kind of person. I'm not gonna go out and cancel people. Okay, that whole attitude is just ridiculous to me. I'm just not. I respect greatness. FalleN's done so much, and in those those couple of things where he did mess up, he apologized for him. So I'm not going to hold him against him. He's a guy who's, a lot of the players that we know that come out of Brazil are only playing this game at this level because of FalleN and the teams that he's brought up as an IGL. Obviously been mega successful, at least back in the LGSK days, right? 2 majors. Number 2 player of 2016, I think. A lot of players call him the best player of that year, the scariest for sure. I think in terms of his form, the question is, can he bring it back? And in this interview with Lewis, he talks about how he wants to be able to bring it back, and he feels like he can. And I think it would be a bold prediction to say that he can, right? I think it's very easy to be like, no, FalleN's probably going to fall off, because that is the most likely situation. And someone who is this deep into their career, 29 years old, jumping to a new team, you don't expect them, after the couple of majors that they won, the peak of their career is over, to get back into that level of form. It's just unlikely. But I think that there is potential for it. Number 2, 16, number 6 of 17. I think there is potential for it. What we saw from FalleN in the year of 2020 was a very big jump up of form from 0.95 up to 113 into June, July. This is something I was keeping an eye on from the beginning of the year as we talked about FalleN. I was like, damn, his stats are really coming up hard, like huge, very consistently over a very long period of time. And of course, this is the point at which the dramas begin and the blow up ensues, and then it's all over. Now, this isn't like super impressive from the point that there's not a lot of tier 1 teams that they're playing against and stuff, but it's not like the knowledge that FalleN has about how to play versus top teams is gone. That's not something I'm incredibly worried about. I think it's just his general mechanics. Like, how's he feeling? Like, is he playing a lot? Can he hit his shots? Because the rest of it, I think, as long as he's got a little bit of motivation and the right amount of discipline, of course, I think he can overcome the hurdle of keeping up with the best players of the world, because he is that kind of player. He's he's an A1 tier 1 player, at least at his peak. So let's see what happens. Okay, so I wanted to pick a demo from a game where he was at the peak this last year. So I went all the way over to the ESL 1 Road to Rio, North America, where he played against Furia. So I tried to pick a respectable team here. They ended up losing, but on Inferno, FalleN had 12-8. T-half on the map, he had a 27-20 score line, so a good CT side as well. And I was curious, sometimes when I think about how a player fits into a team, Inferno is one of the first maps that I visualize. Like, I think about the player in the roles on T side, and I try to see how they would fit in. Are they helping the tempo of the T rounds? Are they slowing things down? Are they doing enough to actually have an impact, or are they only going to get kills when they come? And that's why I want to look at this. I want to look at Inferno and see what it looked like when he's playing with MIBR, and in a situation where I'd like to see, is he the first person to pick the op up, or was it KNG at this time? And if he's rifling, what does that look like? That's also a question for me. And it's Inferno, so he might not be opping, but that's not what I'm 100% concerned about. Let's go ahead and take a look at the match before I miss my shuttle. This is Mayonnaise. We're looking at FalleN. And yeah, I hope I went over everything. It's kind of a deep topic. Right now, we've got, I think, Complexity versus Vitality going on the stream, and I'm going to be heading over to cast the second 2 games of the day. Yesterday, of course, was the first best of 3 that I've casted in about a month, so a little bit rusty, but I felt okay about the commentary. I thought it was good. I think my analysis was good. Like, I felt good about it. Like, there's lots of stuff to talk about. But yeah, I'm looking forward to today's going to be a 2 best of 3 day. Okay, hold on. We've got FalleN here waiting for a flank. Pretty simple stuff. That's one man dead. And it's, of course, the rotation back to B as well. If somebody's going to go around the corner like Art is there, then that's all of the info that you need. They can definitely cause a rotation, and I guess they're just sending this into another fake. Honestly, going B would just be a really, like, the best idea, I guess, but they're also using FalleN to make some noise here. And there's no, this is one of the situations where there's no real bad way to do it if you're MIBR. Like, if you're Furia, you're going to bite on the fake, because even if they commit to either site, they have an advantage. So you'd rather, like, gamble and commit. It's actually MIBR who take the biggest risk by having FalleN push that far up on the banana. You know, if he dies to somebody who is actually there they didn't think was there, then hopefully they're both there, so A is open and his teammates can go A. But yeah, anyways, can't really do anything wrong. So we got the car molly up to the top of banana, and this is to not deny the push. And you're not going to push when you throw the car molly. You're only going to use this to make sure that nobody else can push. So very different. If you're going to rush to the top of banana, and some of these things can be used as fakes as well, but if you're going to rush to the top of banana and you want to turn the corner and go with a fast exec, you don't want a molly car. You want to molly sandbags and run up and try to clear car and throw your supporting flashes from your player back in spawn. But don't try to impede your own rush. There was a situation yesterday on Nuke with G2 where they mollied out secret and then ran through it. And everybody who stepped in the molly gave up a giant sound cue and let the team they were playing, named Furia, know that they were coming. And don't molly your own rush, basically, is the long and short. So we got a strong setup here at mid. That's the kind of setup that will really take a T team apart. It's just, people might be wondering, like, how do you avoid these lane stacks and get the perfect information and win the round? Like, you can't always, okay? If a team does stack 4 up at bracket, you have no info, there's fog of war, you're not sure where the CTs are, you either have to turn a corner and look with a player who is susceptible to die, or see if they push. And if they don't push on Inferno, it can be very hard to avoid an eco. It can be very hard to avoid a mid stack. Sometimes it comes down to throwing a cheap fake just to get some rotations. But when players commit like that, they have 2 on lane, 2 on arch, they're probably not going to move, right? They're probably not going to bite on fakes. And so it just boils down to, again, the T's just, carefully breaking this crossfire open, just hitting their shots. But it's a very CT-favored crossfire. So it's just very difficult on Inferno. You can't get too... I feel like you can't be too critical of the way that some teams approach the anti-ecos. There's very, very, very minute details about, like, the way that teams peak and what nades they use to get the info and how they approach the trades that dictate the difference. But the decision to come up mid versus the decision to go up B, it's almost arbitrary. If nobody's peeking you, no one's giving you info. You've just got to make a decision at some point, and you will kind of have to take a risk sometimes to get that information. So there are a couple ways around it, right? You could do like the Baneling strat and get a Mac 10 on a player. Like we saw FalleN on the second round throwing a fake. You get a Mac 10 to go B. Let's say you think you have the suspicion that it's going to be an A setup, like a full bracket lane stack, right? A sweaty stack at mid. Then you send your 1 Mac 10 on the round, so you don't risk any AKs, into B with a nade or 2. Either he gets the info, gets the kills, or finds out that there's no one there, and then you can make a really good decision off of that. Worst case, you lose the Mac 10 player, but gain information. Best case, you find an open site and avoid the stack completely. But you already knew that, so okay. Now we're going to try to execute onto the A site, and you notice that FalleN will have the bomb a lot on his teams, whether he's opping or rifling. He's just a guy who's basically always planting, so he's going to be a part of basically every post plant that happens when it was on MIBR, and probably on Liquid as well. The key kill comes down, and FalleN talked about how sad he was that he's not going to be playing with Fur anymore. We'll see if he even needs to win this fight. He will still be first up to bat. Henny kills the guy in the back. His ride or die Fur. And FalleN gets the trade 3-2 for Furia. But now with a round 1-2 saved on that round, we move into the next, and FalleN looks like he dropped his AK to pick up a Galil, and he cited not being the opper to go out and try to win the round when he joins Liquid. That's what he says in the article with Mira. He said he wants to be more of a supportive player who has an op, like he'll hit his shots. I think it makes sense. I hope that doesn't mean he doesn't know when to go aggressive, because like he was really the first. He was the first opera shot consistent you could be being extremely aggressive, besides maybe Kenny S. But I think even I would argue Kenny S.'s style was even more volatile than FalleN's. And that's a situation where a Mac 10 might be nice. You're running, you're shooting. I think you'd rather have a Mac 10. But I think it's moments like that where the only thing I do like about it, where I do find the one redeeming quality, is that FalleN recognizes how much space he needs to get, right? So he's actually risking himself by spamming early to draw attention away from his entry fragger. He's not stopping because he knows he needs to refrag or be in a position faster. So it doesn't look quite as nice, but it's kind of the same charm as like Tarek, or the same charm as like, I don't know, Kerrigan. There are certain players who are just sometimes like the way that they get from point A to B isn't always the cleanest, but the fact they prioritize the right thing, right? They're not prioritizing like perfect mechanics or like perfect proper counter strafing when hitting their shot. They're prioritizing their position on the map, and that's what's most important and what's most telling about how good they are for their team, right? I really talked that up for a play that looked that didn't even work, but okay. Now we do have the op. Okay, so quick shot to the top at half wall, and now FalleN improving Inferno would be insane for their map pool. I would ask you guys to look at Liquid's map history and see how many series they've lost because of Inferno. Because of Inferno, and that's not something that only happens to Liquid. That's what is going to happen to most teams in the world, because most teams in the world are sporting between a 45 and 55 win percent on Inferno and still picking the map in important best of threes. It's just a map that's going to come up very often, and a map that is just so even, it's very hard to win. But anything that can improve your Inferno can actually just change your odds of winning tournaments by such a huge margin, because, again, its frequency in the veto is so high. I wouldn't say this is like a specialist map for FalleN, but I would say it is a very good one. I think that when I think about FalleN, I think about Train and Overpass, which is also an interesting one, actually. It's also an interesting one. That's actually a very interesting one. Now, Train isn't a map that's going to be played by Team Liquid, which is something, but I don't know. Maybe it can be now, actually. Like, maybe it genuinely can be now. And then we have Overpass, which Liquid need Overpass to improve. It's a map that they do play sometimes, especially in some of their key matchups, like versus Astralis. It comes up in the veto once in a while. So we've got FalleN doing something similar here, trying to control space on Banana. No one's challenged him too much, and I think it's just maybe just pistols right now, so let's just go ahead and skip through it. Yuri just eliminating everybody with his USP. But yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on FalleN as a op caller to come on to Liquid? Now, honestly, the one thing is, after seeing that they weren't even going to take on FalleN specifically to IGL, I'm like, why didn't you just get Junior? But I think there's still merits to having him come on as a second caller. So we'll see what happens from there. So 3-on-5 situation really quickly. Let's see if we can recover this round with this AWP. We see bomb on back for FalleN with the op. As usual. Teammates kind of try to sell some kind of fake here. And honestly, MIBR did a great job of being tricky sometimes. Like this situation where very, very strange spots to see the T's in. But in a 3v5, it's kind of a creative way to bring the round back into your favor. So now suddenly a 3v3 Taco is doing God's work. However, the trade comes in, but that goes two ways. Now it's a 2v2 situation. The bomb down, FalleN and Fur, the dynamic duo, in a pretty comfortable spots on the A site. FalleN will sit in the site in the post plant, and Fur will take on the pit. This is the smartest place to be for Fur. For FalleN, it's a bit scarier, I'd say, but at least they maintain this crossfire. So you can see FalleN's attention is kind of split between two angles. He's got to make a judgment call. And this is a position where now his position is like a lot scarier. But I think he sees a shadow, actually. And that's for free. Yeah, Quesarado was trying to make it seem like he walked all the way around to join Art, but FalleN saw a shadow, so he didn't have to look anywhere else. And that is the round one and done. Very nice 1v2 on FalleN. See, the fact that Fur dies, who's in the stronger position, is what scares me a bit, right? I'm like, okay, maybe this is a position where FalleN could have joined him in pit. But lots of great places to play on the site from cold, holding R trap, or from the safe plant position, holding lane. Lots of strong angles for your op to play in the post plant for sure. I mean, I don't even. Yeah, he was definitely in a great spot. I don't know. Felt like he could have gotten somewhere slightly better, I guess, but anywhere on the site is totally fine, especially with Fur alive in the pit. And look at this. They've earned themselves an eco, so. I mean, I hope this round isn't too scary. I don't want to skip through anything serious, but assuming it's just pistols, surely they can win. So, just want to keep the spacing tight here as we move up. FalleN moving with the pack. And again, trying to create space. They know one's here in the pit. They don't have to worry about him when they plant. They do have to worry about where the bomb is planted right now. But it doesn't seem like there's any odds of a retake. They're just focusing on getting the bomb down. And they carry this on forward into round 12. Are we seeing anything surprising? No, not really. A couple of nice shots being hit. Space being controlled. A 1v2-1 from FalleN. Stuff that we know and expect. And we know he'll be every bit as capable of, in year 2021 on Team Liquid. I don't know. I really think the only thing that can stop FalleN is himself. I'm not expecting to see something like miraculous out of him, but I am definitely looking to see like very high level performance on Team Liquid, just kind of period. And he's also got experience. You got to remember, he's got experience playing with Stewie, calling for Stewie. Stewie knows him, and he knows Stewie. And surely FalleN's had a huge impact on Stewie's calling. And after practice, I think FalleN has cited in that article as well that he's got to learn from their system and called it very structured, which I think is a gracious compliment. But he is kind of a very nice guy. I don't know if he meant it. I really don't think. I'm not sure how. I don't know. Liquids, sometimes they look good. Sometimes, I don't know. I wouldn't rate them up there, though, with the very top teams right now in terms of overall team structure. Just for my personal outlook. Like, I'd even put a team like EG above them. I'd put Furia above them just in NA. And then I'd put, a handful of top European teams above them. Yeah. FalleN grabs a kill at the half wall. They come back through mid. There looks like an attack on lane is going to come up. And, should be pretty solid. They've attracted the attention of all the CTs. FalleN, it looked like he was going to fake plant for a second and just get spammed through the smoke. It seemed he was going to quietly jump on the bomb plant and then just get off and see if someone was spamming cold or something. It felt like that was coming. Okay, that doesn't work out too hot. It just really needed to speed that up, I guess. And maybe the smoke wasn't great. It seemed like Quesarado could maybe see a foot off the corner of that smoke. Okay. Just the deagle. Oh, okay. Oh, frick, man. He gets the two. Okay, hold on. Hold up. Hold up. 1 second. Okay. I have enough time to do this. I have 10 minutes before my shuttle gets here. I'm skipping back. Come on. Come on. Okay, let's go. Let's see it. Was it that impressive? Oh, yeah, it was. Through the missile. Oh, into coffins. Later. Only saw half of one opponent's head. Great shots. Damn. And they'll come through right into FalleN's scope on the retake. Can we get 4? Misses a chance on the first guy. Here it is, the 1v2. They need it. He can't miss. He gets the guy in the back. And does he read him coming off the plant? No, he doesn't. But he still has enough time to punish him for staking. Perfectly played. Perfectly played. Basically a force-up. His teammates are all getting the kills. KNG basically hitting every single last one of them. And, okay, we end on a complete high. Very, very nice round there to end it off. A 1v2 plus the 2 Deagle kills. And 2 1v2s in the game as well. Super sick stuff. FalleN, looking forward to watching your game today. Glad to be doing a demo of you on this channel. Finally, it's about time. I have high hopes and a lot of confidence. Looking forward to it. Cheers, everybody. See you tomorrow. Who should we do? Should we do Nico controlling space outside on T side? Nuke? Should we do Honda? So many aces in one half. Should we do someone else? Some more up-and-coming players that we haven't talked about? Let me know. Thank you guys for watching, as always. I'll see you again tomorrow.